You're getting married?
Damn! I didn't even know you were seeing somebody. Why didn't you say something?
Oh, I just didn't.
That's a scene from The Cake, now playing at Lyric Stage Company. It's inspired by the true story of a baker who refused to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. But the play adds a key ingredient to the mix. The lesbian who requests the cake is the baker's beloved family friend. The drama explores the clash between the baker's faith and her love for her friend. Courtney O'Connor, you're the director of The Cake. Karen MacDonald starring in The Cake. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Nice to be here.
Let me start with you, Courtney. Tell us, this feels like ripped from the headlines. Many people might remember the case that made it all the way to the Supreme Court in 2018 about a baker and a same-sex marriage issue. So how does this track with what happened in real life?
That is dealing with a very public issue, right? And people who don't know each other, just a baker and a customer. But this is about Della and what happens when someone she loves comes and says, oh, by the way, I want you to bake my wedding cake, but I am a lesbian. And so it's really looking at the private and the individual side of a very large public issue.
And how does that change it to be so private?
It takes it from being people that we can have ideas about and stereotypes and just concepts about, and it changes them into people that we grow to care about and to have really strong connections with. I mean, Della, the character that Karen plays, is the baker, and I think that a lot of people would look at her and say, oh, she's against the gay marriage, we don't like her, we're against her.
Well, you had every right to tell them no.
Well, I told them that I have a very full month, and I do. I got 2 christening cakes, and I like to take my time with those, and it's Halloween, so I do my pumpkins. It is a very full month.
Because we get to know her, because we get to see what's going on in her personal journey, we gain empathy for her. And, you know, I mean, I keep saying if we're not torn by the end of this, if we don't love Della a little bit by the end of this, there's something wrong.
Well, Karen, how do you see Della? First of all, explain to us how we can find somebody who would refuse to make a cake for someone she knows and seems to care deeply for.
What happens to her is this girl who she's been like a surrogate mom to, whose mother, in fact, has passed away about 5 years ago. This young woman comes home, first of all announces that she's gay. Della never knew this. Introduces her fiancé, and then comes the issue of the cake. So I think, actually, I would say for Della, rather than refusing, she's treading water, trying to say, I got to think about this, I got to think about this, I got to think about this.
The reservation being a religious foundation?
Well, I think what she's confronting is that she is a person of faith, and what happens when you've been told some larger concept, but until it's a person who you love standing in front of you, then all of a sudden you have to deal with the issue in a different way.
Which is so interesting, right? Because isn't this most issues? They're one thing up here. They're one thing up here in headlines, or if we see politicians espousing them, or people on a big religious platform espousing them. But when it's brought down here to people you know, I assume that's what you're conveying here as director, with that strife, that it's something different when it's in your own space.
Absolutely. It's when you're, you know, so much of religion is prescribed, right? And the opening monologue of the piece is Della talking about the #1 mistake that people make in baking is not following the recipe.
What you have to do is really, truly follow the directions. I don't really care if your eggs were ever caged or if they ever went to the movies. I'm talking about the fat, buddy. Full fat. You gotta.
And religion, for so many people, in this case, right, prescribes this is the path that we're supposed to take. What happens when you go, oh, these steps that I'm supposed to take, these choices that I'm supposed to make, these beliefs I'm supposed to have, cannot hold because of this individual for whom I care a great deal. It changes issues entirely. It changes them completely.
And it works the other way in the play as well, because the young woman, one of the brides, Jenny, her fiancé is a young woman named Macy who, you know, had a very different kind of growing up, not in the South, urban, She's African American, so she's had particular struggles that someone like my character doesn't understand because she's not African American. But it's also true that Macy makes judgments about me.
What's this one for? It's very elaborate.
Oh, that's a Noah's Ark cake. It's for a baptism for my goddaughter on Sunday. I made the little critters out of marzipan. You see, you got your elephants, you got your orangutans, you got your giraffes.
Where are the dinosaurs?
Oh.
At the beginning of the play, do you, Karen, feel the audience, especially in a place as intimate as the Lyric? Do you feel the audience's judgment as you're there on stage? I know we're talking to you before the play is open, but I know you've been in this situation with your myriad roles before.
I think, yeah, sure, you do sometimes feel like the audience is disapproving of you or finding you funny, because the story is also told with a great deal of humor. Mm-hmm. So it does feel like the audience is, I'm sure that they will be like, I mean, we are in Massachusetts after all.
The lucky guy is a woman, a very beautiful black woman. Not that I have a problem with that. You know I don't see color.
Oh, I don't care.
What kind of background do you either are given or are you doing for this character? I've talked to so many actors who will invent entire backgrounds. Are you of that ilk?
Yeah, I think it's helpful always to me to try to figure out what's her day like and what does she do and where does she buy her clothes and how did she get interested in being a baker. And I mean, as far as the actual baking thing, thank God for YouTube. I've been watching endless, it's like I have nightmares about making rosettes with, and piping cakes and layers of cakes balancing, and all that stuff is there for you to find out.
Courtney, you're in a leadership role right now at the Lyric Stage Company, too.
Yes.
So I wonder, when you're doing a piece like this, even though it is intimate, it is incredibly topical, and what you see as the role of theater in going there as opposed to something that might be sheer entertainment or a sheer classic, but being part of the conversation.
We live in a culture that's really big on the idea of, and I kind of hate the term, but cancel culture, of just, I disagree with you, you're cut out, you're gone, I pay no more attention. And I think that one of the things that theater can do is provide us a platform where that's not possible. I mean, I suppose you could get up and leave the theater, but if you stay, if you go on this journey with us, you still might come out at the end disagreeing with them. You still might come out saying, I don't believe what they're saying, I don't agree with what they're saying. But you have gone at least a little bit on the road with them. If we can't have the conversations with people who disagree with us, if we can't talk with people and start to see things from different perspectives, then I think we're in a lot more trouble than we know.
Well, Courtney O'Connor, Karen MacDonald, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.